Hello, noble ones, and welcome to Metatron's Academy. So we've got something to look at today. This is a channel that we have reacted to a couple of times, and it's called Jackson Crawford, who is a professor of Old Norse, probably one of the most knowledgeable people on YouTube when it comes to the language spoken by the Norse. Now, of course, I strongly suggest you to go subscribe, watch his other videos, and we'll give him a like. This is only a 4 minutes video, so we will react to the entirety of this production. Also because I'm really interested. He's gonna talk about the word Ragnarok. I don't know if I mispronounced it. And he gives us two possible meanings. And knowing how deeply he goes, if this is the first time you hear of Professor Crawford, you're gonna love it. Without further ado.
Ragnarok. What does that mean? Well, the
So already there is phonemic vowel length that I ignore.
Ragna part is the easiest in a sense because it means of the gods. Regen is the gods. We actually see this word already in Proto-Norse and
Regen.
Ragna, that is its earlier form. And what does this come from? Interestingly, it kind of looks like words for ruler elsewhere in Indo-European.
Cool.
And I've been tempted to say that in the past myself, but remember that a G in a Germanic language is not a G in other languages because of Grimm's law. A G in other Indo-European languages is going to be a K in a Germanic language like English or Old Norse. And I'll come back to that because that has something to do with Ragnarok, but not with this word.
Fascinating, by the way. I love the linguistics of it.
This word probably has something to do with a word for speech that also shows up kind of vestigially elsewhere in the language, elsewhere in other Indo-European languages. Welsh, hregi, curse, Latin, rako, roar. Actually, an Old Church Slavic word, roku, for speech that becomes Russian rok, meaning doom or fate, like what's pronounced for you. It's kind of cool. So it's probably the ones that speak, even maybe a little bit like in the development in that Russian word, the ones that speak your fate.
Okay.
Now,
Some kind of form of divination then.
second element in Ragnarok is two different versions. In most of the poems of the Poetic Edda, it's spelled as in such a way that we read it as Ragnarok. That AU combined vowel spells what we usually spell in the standardized languages as Okaudata. That is actually the word that is related to that ruler word, that Latin rex, regis, that Celtic rex, that Sanskrit raj. And a really good...
Isn't it fascinating? Look at the connection, even though these are completely different and separate languages, language families, in fact, and the history goes, of course, proto. So this is really ancient, and they all happen to start with R with a vowel afterwards. Fascinating.
Parallel formation to rock in Old Norse is Sanskrit raji, which is like a streak. And I think that the course that a life has taken is a good basic meaning for rock in Old Norse. We see that in Alvismal, for example, where Thor is buttering up the dwarf Alvis and telling him he knows about everyone's rock, the course of all lives. And of course, if you're wise in Old Norse, you always know the future, you always know fates and things like that.
Cool.
So Ragnarok is then the course of the god's life.
The course of the god's life, did he say? Apologies for interrupting him.
So Ragnarok is then the course of the gods' lives, and especially its end. Ragnarokr, which is what Snorri Sturluson calls it in the Prose Edda, and what the poem Lokasenna calls it in the Poetic Edda, is actually darkness of the gods, or specifically the twilight darkness of the gods. And of course, this has influenced the way this word is often translated in English and in German, Götterdämmerung. This is an old Indo-European word for darkness that we see in Gothic as requis, typical word for darkness in Gothic, closely related language.
Latin as well.
And also in more distantly related languages. For example, in Greek, this is erebos. You very often get B's out of quas in Greek, quas and guas. And erebos, of course, is the darkness of the underworld, right? Whether of the dead or of the underworld deities.
Probably one of the things I like the most, apart from the linguistics of it, is the comparative mythology. Ooh, I love that. Comparative mythology is... Man, I wish I could make an entire channel out of it. This is how interesting it is, but it's impossible because I've already got too many channels going.
So that's kind of cool. So it's when the gods go down to darkness. It's when the gods go dark, when their sky goes dark. And so both Ragnarökr, darkness of the gods, darkening of the skies of the gods, and Ragnarok, the course of the gods' lives, the end of the course of the gods' lives, make perfect sense. And it's very difficult to know which, if either, is the earlier, more original term. Well, thank you, folks, for your support on Patreon and such. Thanks for checking out my translations from the original Old Norse, such as the second edition of the Poetic Edda.
The Poetic Edda, yeah. Expanded second edition.
And I've got a lot of other videos about Ragnarok on this channel if you want to check them out. For now, from beautiful Colorado, I'm wishing you all the best.
Okay, so of course, we can see what other videos he has got, but in the meantime, let me see if there is a... Professor, you need to do better with the links. If you mention your Patreon, I would suggest you to add the Patreon in the links, but we'll see if he has it on his page instead. He does. Okay, that's good. So let's have a look at his Patreon. 3,000 members. That is fantastic. I'm very happy for him. Definitely deserved. So he's got... Okay. Oh, yes. Yeah. May choose your own adventure with Luke Ranieri. Look at that. Okay. Very cool. And of course, he's got extra content here. So clearly, I'm going to put the link in the description to his Patreon in my video description so that it makes it easier for those who are interested in connecting and maybe learning more from him, because he definitely has a lot to offer. And apart from that, what else does he have? Ragnarok. I don't know if he spelled it. Signs of the Ragnarok for 2 years ago. Signs of Ragnarok 1. Oh, this is 3. From 3 years ago. Ragnarok, what the old sources say. So he's got a 14 minutes. But this is from 8 years ago. Gosh. Well, he maintained the drip. I can appreciate a man who stays solid with his fashion choices. Eclipse and Ragnarok videos. So this is some kind of, imagine... It's 1 minute. We can watch it from 2 years ago. I'm curious.
The sun turns black. The earth. The sun turns black. The earth sinks into the sea. The bright stars fall out of the sky. Flames scorch the leaves of Yggdrasil. A great bonfire reaches to the highest clouds. I see the earth rise a second time from out of the sea.
Beautiful poem. I want to re-listen to the way he pronounced. I think he said, did he say Yggdrasil? Is that a th or is it a d? Is it e? Is it Let me hear it again. The tree, of course.
The bright stars fall out of the sky. Flames scorch the leaves of Yggdrasil.
Yggdrasil. Let me hear it again.
Of Yggdrasil.
Yggdrasil.
Leaves of Yggdrasil.
Yggdrasil. Okay, interesting.
A great bonfire reaches to the highest clouds. I see the earth rise a second time from out of the sea, green once more. Waterfalls flow and eagles fly overhead, hunting for fish among the mountain peaks. The Aesir meet on Idavol and regard the bones of the Midgard serpent.
Midgard.
Bones of the Midgard serpent.
Midgard. So the R is definitely rolled. I appreciate that. I don't know if the D is a th, so interdental.
Bones of the Midgard serpent.
Sounds like it to me, but you'll let me know if you have a better ear. Let me hear it again.
And regard the bones of the Midgard serpent. And there they recall the great events of Ragnarok and Odin's
Ragnarok.
old wisdom. Then Hrungnir will speak forth his prophecies, and the two sons of Odin, the two brothers, will...
Odin, definitely there is a th rather than Odin. It sounds Odin. Maybe the O has a different quality to what I can hear.
inhabit the heavens. Have you learned enough yet?
Beautiful. Thank you, Professor. We very much appreciate a little bit of a shorter video today, but I hope you liked it. And if there's was a way for you to get to know about this channel, then I'm glad to have helped. Thank you for watching. If you're enjoying this video so far, please take a moment to check out my Patreon page. With as little as a $5 support, you can help us ensure that we can continue to produce high quality and high researched content. And at the same time, you get access to polls, extra videos, unlisted streams, and much more. Thank you so much.